Welcome to another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. I'm your host, Rob. This is my co-host, Darren. Today we're still recovering. Recovering. We're still covering the NFC South Division. Today we're going to be tackling the Atlanta Falcons. So what are your thoughts about the Atlanta Falcons going into this offseason, Darren?
Very interesting team. I think Calvin Ridley is the biggest thing that jumps out to me. If he was here, this team would be a lot better. Um, Obviously they're going with a different strategy at quarterback with a mobile quarterback that can deliver the ball, but not necessarily super far downfield. And that's what they got with Marcus Mariota, and Desmond Ritter is kind of a mirror of that. Not really a far down the field thrower. He can deliver it down the field, but the he wants to make sure that receiver is open. I like the receiving core. I like that they went and traded for Brian Edwards. The Drake London obviously was a good pickup, big receiver to go with a big tight end and Kyle Pitts. Both of them can finish a play, but they definitely can go up and get the ball. So I think that's very good. I think that's kind of how their team is built. They're like other teams are built with speedy receivers. This team is built with possession, big receivers that can actually still finish the play. And Cordell Patterson kind of changed this team last year at running back and how we see certain running backs. Obviously, he's always played receiver and running back, and then they obviously just gave him the chance at running back to keep running with it. Big guy, big guy. Um, but he did definitely did the job. Defensively, they just need to get healthy and play together. That's what I also like to say.
I'm really nervous about this team and this team's future. Out of all the rookie receivers that came out in the draft this year, I feel like the only one that has the biggest chance of being a bust would be Drake London. And the only reason I say that, I don't think he's going to live up to where he was drafted. Um, I think at least three or four of those receivers are going to be better than him statistically for these first couple years. Now, is all that going to be his fault? Not necessarily. I think he's going to have a quarterback problem for his first couple years of his career, which is going to hold him back.
Yeah.
Saying that, I do like that they're getting another big receiver to put on the outside. I think that gives them a lot of options and possibilities. For example, lining Kyle Pitts up in the slot. I think they can get really funky of how they use their pass catchers this year.
Most definitely. I think it's very interesting how you play this team one on one with you can't have a short corner going man on man with any one of these guys pretty much. Maybe Brian Edwards. Um but if you're too small and the quarterback knows how to put the ball in a position where that guy knows how to get it, maybe Drake London or Kyle Pitts. And we're just talking about them. CK has had a really good season. Like, this team didn't do great last year, but there were certain highlights. CK has had a good season. He came out of nowhere. They got Demir Bird. That's a fast guy. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. It's very interesting. I want to get your thoughts on the quarterback situation though that they have right now because they're clearly like you can see that they're clearly going with the mobile guy. I want to get your opinion on that.
So here's the thing: Desmond Ritter is very mobile as well.
Hmm.
I just like the idea of letting him develop for like 2 to 3 years first before you throw him out there. I was watching some replays of games from last year of Desmond Ritter, just to get a feel for his quarterbacking, and that he relies on his legs like a lot. To an extent, it kind of worries you. Not that he's not confident necessarily in his arm, but I feel like if he doesn't see his first option open, he kind of takes off. Um, and that was a pretty good Cincinnati team last year too. I just feel like he relies on his legs too much, and I feel like his next 2 to 3 years of being in the NFL is going to be developing him as a quarterback to potentially be the next guy. Marcus Mariota, I think, is a really good placeholder until that time comes, because Atlanta is definitely not in any type of win now situation. They're still rebuilding this team to possibly make a run at the playoffs in the future. So I look at Desmond Ritter in kind of a mix, in like a kind of a mix between Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love type situation.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Except Marcus Mariota is new to this team, and he's not really proven in the NFL. Like we know who he is, but he's not like a winner. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he lost his job to Ryan Tannehill, so that makes any sense. But I think, like you say, he's the perfect bridge quarterback for to teach Desmond Ritter this type of things, because Marcus Mariota played for the Raiders last year, and I obviously watched every Raiders game. I'm a Raiders fan, and he actually came in for a lot of those plays and actually played very well, if you ask me. Um, I think he's also somebody that kind of depends on his legs, but in the short pass situation, he's really good, or at least decent.
Um, how do you feel about this defense?
I actually like this defense a lot more than what other people, right? So you got Thou Shall Not Pass, right? The Garrett Grady. So you got him. If you get Deion Jones to be healthy and he's playing like he should, I think that's a massive like upgrade. I think they went and got one. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Defensive line too. Don't quote me on that. I want to say from that Georgia team or something like that. But ultimately, I like the fact that they went and got Casey Hayward. Once again, he also played for the Raiders last year, and he played very well. He was probably one of our best corners. And AJ Terrell is coming in to be one of the top corners in the NFL. Ultimately, he's the number one corner. He's the guy that you want that's going to hold down stuff a little bit more. I think their defense actually has a little bit more depth than what it put on. To be honest with you, but they ultimately, your defense can be good, but because I think they got two solid corners. I think their back half is actually kind of solid. I think their defense, their front is not bad to be real, but their offense might keep them in trouble. That's they might get scored on a lot just because their offense.
I don't think this defense is going to stop anybody this year. I'm gonna keep it straightforward and simple. I think they're just going to get scored on a lot. I don't see them stopping anybody, especially if they have injury problems with Deion Jones this year.
I like to when I do these, I like to think that the person's going to be there. So I'm gonna say Deion Jones maybe misses a game or so, but I think he's going to be there. And I like their linebacker, his young linebackers at the end of the day. I think their offense is just gonna might keep them in trouble. Just keep them in trouble.
Do. So this Arnold Abeki kid, he
Hmm.
played at Penn State. Hopefully he
Absolutely.
can have an impact on their pass rush this year,
Yeah.
because they
Penn State
really
always
drafted
produces.
mostly defense.
That's pretty much what they needed. Get one of the receivers too. You just got a big one. You just went with a strategy. And honestly, it's probably more like them if you really think about it. Julio is a big receiver. The one he got Kyle Pitts. Where is Julio going to land? My goodness, that is a question.
Julio Jones.
Yes,
Do you want Julio Jones on your football team?
I don't know whose team needs him, but Julio Jones needs to be on somebody's team. He needs to be on
But
somebody's roster. You
but
know, he needs to go to Tampa Bay.
but if wherever he goes, are they going to even throw him the ball?
That's
That's been
exactly
my
what I'm saying.
biggest thing these last like 3-4 years about Julio. The niggas don't be throwing him the ball.
They threw him the ball in Atlanta.
Not towards the end.
That was because Calvin really showed up, and Julio was getting double. He was still getting thrown the ball, but I will say Julio needs to go. We'll get to that team. Never mind. But yeah, this team is interesting. I think, but also Calvin really not being there messes up this offense. Because let's say if you obviously don't got Julio, if you throw Kyle Pitts out there with Calvin Ridley and Frank London, we're talking about and let alone what Cordell Patterson can do once he gets the ball in his hands in the open field. We're just talking about a different team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So even with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, there would be at least a draw to bring in a big name free agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Brady's about to retire. This division's up. Anybody can have it. We got the most talent next to Tampa Bay, maybe, if not more. So I don't know.
All right. Well, let's get into looking at their schedule and see how we think they're going to do this year. They start week 1 against the Saints.
Divisional game. Um, Interesting, right?
No, not at all.
Why not?
I think the Saints win this by like 2 or 3 touchdowns.
With James Winston at quarterback,
Yes.
you don't like these corners at all, do you?
No. And they have
Why
some
don't?
real weapons in New Orleans, especially if
All right,
Michael Thomas
fair.
comes
You know
back
what?
healthy. Chris
Facts,
Olave is
facts.
going to surprise a lot of people. I I don't know how much Ohio State football people watch. I'm sorry, I don't know how much people watch Ohio State football, but if you watched 3 or 4 games of Ohio State last year, you'll know Chris Olave is a burner. He gets behind defenses, and I think a lot of football fans are going to be surprised when they see how fast he is in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you have to worry about the whole off that you sold me. You're right. Saints are gonna win this game because they're too talented offensively. But they will struggle a little bit versus for a split second.
Um, week 2 at Los Angeles Rams.
They're gonna lose.
I agree.
It's gonna be a good game. They're gonna lose.
I disagree. Um, whoever they match Jalen against, which is probably going to be Drake London, is going to have a welcome to the NFL moment.
If it's him or Kyle Pitts, it's just welcome to the NFL.
Pretty much. Because
Ah,
I really don't think, as far as I know, I don't think Jalen travels. He stays on one side of the field.
he travels when it's necessary.
So I think it's going to put the Atlanta Falcons in weird positions where they're going to have to play into the Rams' game plan when they don't want to.
Yeah, I could see Bobby Wagner cleaning somebody's clock, whether that's Cordell or Marcus Mariota.
All right. Week 3 at Seattle.
Uh,
I'm going to take the Falcons.
yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons too, but that's a tough one. I think the Seahawks will actually be able to run the ball a little bit better than what people think, and I think that's gonna trouble this. But I think ultimately they won't be able to pass, and I think those corners that you don't like, which I don't know how you don't like AJ Terrell, I think one of them are gonna get a pick six.
Okay. Week 4 versus Cleveland.
They are most definitely gonna lose this game.
I agree. Week 5 at Tampa Bay.
Once again, Tampa Bay cannot let no layups just fall underneath them anymore. So they're going to win this game.
I agree. Week 6 versus San Francisco.
Good lord, Atlanta's going to lose this game too.
I agree. Week 7 at Cincinnati.
Desmond Ritter might be playing at this point, so I'm gonna give him a chance, but nah, Cincinnati. That's
Uh,
terrible.
I think the worst thing that can happen is you throw Desmond Ritter out here too early. Um, I think I think you draft Desmond Ritter in the third round to let him sit a couple years. I don't think you throw them out there early.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe week like 17, 18 at the end of the year just to get him some reps, some real in-game reps. But I don't think you just throw him out to the
bro,
wolves.
Marcus Mariota has not played a full season in I think 2 or 3 years now. He's a running quarterback, and he plays Demario Davis, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, like Miles Garrett. Do you see the gauntlet? He might not have a choice but to play at this point. That's all I'm saying. Like Ritter might not have he might not have a choice.
I think that would be bad for his career to throw him out there
It
too
would be
early.
bad for him. You could say that, but he might not have a choice at a certain point.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Week 8 versus Carolina.
Uh, they're going to win this game, I believe,
I agree.
or lose this game. This game.
Um, I think they beat Carolina. Week 9 versus Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, they're going to lose.
I agree. Week 10 at Carolina.
They're going to beat them.
I agree. Week 11 versus Chicago.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Justin Fields versus Marcus Mariota, weapon for weapon. Uh, ooh, where are you going with this?
I'm taking the Falcons.
It's a tough one,
I feel like
dog.
Justin's just in too bad of a situation.
You said what?
I think Justin Fields is in too bad of a situation. I think that's a really bad situation in Chicago.
Well, I agree with you. It's like he's going to win. He can get one of these games. He's not going to go. Uh, dang, I don't know, man. This is a tough one for me. This is really tough. I'm going to say, I'm going to say Atlanta wins it. Dang, that's tough for me to say. More
Week
weapons though.
12 at Washington.
Washington's a very interesting team too. Um, Washington wins it. Yeah, Falcons are going to lose.
I agree. I think Washington wins this game as well. Week 13 versus Pittsburgh.
I could see this offense giving Pittsburgh a prop at this point in the season if Marcus Mariota is healthy. Um, Specifically Cordell Patterson as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say Pittsburgh still wins it. The ground game of Najee.
I agree. Week 14 they have a bye. Then they're at the New Orleans Saints week 15.
They're going to lose their last 4 games. I'm sorry to say it, but that's exactly what's going to happen.
I agree. The last 4 games are the Saints, the Ravens, the Cardinals, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's just tough. It's 2 divisional games, and then you got the Ravens, who's probably going to be really fighting for a playoff spot at that point when you play them. And you got the Cards, who's probably doing the exact same thing because both those teams are in very tough divisions, so they probably going to be fighting for it. And if you give them a team that they should beat at the back of their season, they're probably going to put them to dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
All
what you
right.
got 'em?
Like one.
One?
Yeah, I only think I had them beaten like Seattle.
Nah, you got them beating one of the Carolina games too. I think one or two.
Oh yeah, true. So like two.
Um,
Not great. I don't see this
you
team
said you got
doing
them
too
beating
crazy.
Chicago too.
I did say that. So that's three.
And can you scroll up? They gonna lose. I think they gonna. Can you scroll up? Yeah. So you probably got 3 wins. I'm probably around the same. It's a tough. It's just gonna be tough until Calvin Ridley gets back, and then they actually get a quarterback that's worth doing. When they get a quarterback that's a journeyman, but like Baker Mayfield or something like that, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. All right. Any last words on the Falcons?
Um, Atlanta, man. I don't know. Atlanta. They have a great, culture down there. They definitely. What really threw me off about Justin Fields is that I think Justin Fields is the quarterback that should be in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
His style just kind of fits Atlanta a little bit more. I feel like you give him Calvin Ridley, you give him Kyle Pitts, you give him Drake London, even he can do something. Like Marcus Mariota can do some things, but I've seen him already, so I'm good. So I don't know. I hope they find that guy, but I'm very iffy if they do.
All right. Well, uh, make sure you guys let us know down in the comment section how you think Atlanta is going to do this year. Do you like the idea of them going big with drafting Drake London and Kyle Pitts? Do you think they should be doing something different with their offense? And more specifically, when do you think Atlanta? How long do you think this Atlanta rebuild is going to last? And when are they going to get their quote unquote shit together? Let us know that in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you leave a subscribe. You hit the subscribe button and you leave a like. That definitely helps out the videos. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.